want to take a moment and told you we'd let you know kind of what our plans are. I know that as the governor has been talking to us about reopening the economy, one of the questions that has continued to come up is, are we reopening the church? And so I want to say up front that this has been difficult for us all along the way, making a decision to close the church to in-person services was a very difficult decision. And making a decision to reopen is a very difficult decision. We've taken none of those lightly. We take them all very seriously. They've all been entered into very prayerfully, and they've been hard. And as we continue, they continue to be hard. And we had Sunday evening kind of made a decision of where we were going. We were waiting on the governor to kind of release what he was going to say before we said anymore. And after kind of listening to what the governor said, and I've got a copy of the executive order here in my hand, I won't go through all the portions of that. I think we're still okay to proceed as we have planned. And again, I know that some may have disagreed with the decision to close. Some may disagree with the decision to reopen. But we're trying to do this the best way that we possibly can, in a way that we believe operates within the guidelines as we have so received them. And we are still waiting for more guidelines. So let me say before I make any announcement that we'll be following those guidelines. And if for some reason we're not able to operate within those, we're going to have to back up and say, hang on just a minute. So there could be some changes made as we continue to wait on the guidelines. But for now, the first question everybody wants to know is, are we reopening, and when are we reopening? So let me answer that question first. We, at the moment, are planning for May the 17th to be our first in-person worship services, that we would reopen in-person worship services on Sunday morning, May the 17th. Now, from there, the question would be, what will that look like? And the first thing I want to say is we try to operate within those guidelines and social distancing standards, that it's going to look different than what it looked like before. And one of the ways it will look different is we believe that we will need to have two services in order to accommodate those social distancing guidelines. So we will have a service at 9 o'clock and a service at 10:45. The 10:45 service will continue to be live streamed. And I suspect that a lot of folks would prefer to come to that 10:45 service, and we're going to need to ask you to try to spread that out. We need some of you to come at the 9 o'clock service so that we're not overcrowded. We've developed a plan. We believe we've got a good plan that allows social distancing. I can't explain all that right now. It's one of those things that it'll make sense when you see it and might not make sense if I try to explain it. But the way we are thinking about setting it up, we believe we can probably seat about 45 people in the sanctuary. And we believe that'll be within the guidelines, unless those guidelines are different than we expect later this week. So about 45 people or so, depending on how you set in your family units, and you would set only with your family unit. And then maybe 5 or so folks on the stage. So that's 50-ish people, and we'll have a little overflow downstairs if we need to, that you could go down there. And so that's going to look a little different. We're going to maintain social distancing. We're going to have limited seating. You're going to have to be careful on entry and exit, not to get congested. And so those things are different. The service itself is going to look different for those reasons. Also, there will be no Sunday school. There will be no nursery schedule. And so those are things we cannot maintain social distance doing those things, so we will not have those things. We will have two services, one at 9 o'clock, one at 10:45. We're hoping you can help us distribute the numbers among those. The 10:45 will be live streamed. So that's the when, Sunday, May the 17th. The what can I expect? What will it look like? Two services, maintaining proper social distancing, cleaning between those services, so giving us time to wipe everything down and clean up in between services. So then I want to move on to the who should come question, and that may be better answered by who should not come. And I think I say that because there's two things. One, you should not come to protect yourself. Two, you should not come perhaps to protect others. So let me deal with the protecting yourself. For some of you, you're saying, perhaps, I'm not comfortable coming back. We understand that, and we do not want you to feel obligated or that it's your sense of responsibility or duty to return to in-person services. You can continue to watch services online. There are a lot of you that feel like that there's some pressure on you to support your church and to support this ministerial team, and that you're obligated to come back. Please do not feel that way. We don't want you to feel that way. We don't feel that way if you can't, for whatever reason, be comfortable coming back. We're okay with that. We want you to stay home and worship with us online. The other side of that are those of you that should stay home, are those that, for whatever reason, are in a higher risk group, whether that's your health, maybe there's a health issue, or maybe it's simply the age category that you're in, that it's in your best interest to stay home, to continue to shelter at home. You should have folks, getting things for you at the grocery store, and you shouldn't be trying to attend a worship service. We know that and appreciate that. So those that shouldn't come are those that are concerned about their own health, and therefore don't feel obligated, and don't come if you're in a higher risk group. Also, those that should be seeking to protect others. If you or anyone in your family is currently sick or has been sick at any point in time recently, don't come. Don't risk making somebody else sick. Also, if you have been out of the immediate Tri-Cities area in recent days or weeks, don't come, particularly if you've been in an area where there's more of this there. Make sure that you haven't brought anything back with you, and certainly in with you. We do not want this to be something that gets into the church and spreads from there. So those are the folks that shouldn't come. And those that should come are those that are saying, I want to come back and enjoy that worship experience. Now, with that said, I realize that we're here to worship, we're here to spend time in the Word, but truth be known, we're also here to fellowship. And for most of us, that's a huge part of what we're missing. And I need to say a word to that, because that fellowship is not going to look exactly the same. Again, we're going to operate within the guidelines that are given. If those guidelines that have been mentioned in the executive order come out this week and there's something that we're not able to do, we're going to have to step back and say, wait a minute, we've got to be able to meet this before we can come back to in-person services. But speaking of those guidelines, we're going to maintain social distancing. Social distancing and fellowshipping do not exactly go hand in hand. Let's be honest, we come to church because we like fellowship. I know we're here to worship, we're here in the Word, but we also like fellowship. We like a handshake. We like, come on, let's be honest, a hug around the neck. We can't do that right now. And so don't come back expecting to be able to do those things. Respect the people that are here, and do not put them in those uncomfortable situations. We're going to maintain social distancing. But we realize a lot of folks are saying, I miss worshiping corporately. Well, so do we. And we're going to continue to provide online services. For some of you, that is still your absolute best option. For others who maybe don't have online opportunities, or it is at best glitchy and works sometimes and sometimes doesn't, and doesn't give you the real experience, and you're like, I just want to come back and sit down with a group of believers and share in this corporate experience. We understand that, and we believe we are operating within the guidelines as they've been laid out, and we seek to open back up on Sunday, May the 17th, within the guidelines. And if anything changes in that, we would let you know. And so continue to worship through us. Thank you for all of your amazing support, the way you've encouraged us, the way you've supported the church. Wow, we have been so touched and just so blessed by what you've done. Thank you for that. And we're going to continue to seek God in this. We're going to seek to honor Him and glorify Him in what we do and how we do it. And so we just want to let you know, because the question keeps coming, what is our plan from here? So that's our plan for now, provided we don't need to make changes according to either the guidelines or a change in the data that is available. So thank you, and we look forward to worshiping together with you. Good evening.